Oh, pardon me. Well, good evening, everybody. Um, nice to have you on board. And gosh, Jane's in early. Um, Good evening to Jane. Nice to have you here, Jane. Joining us even just a little bit before we went live. That's really nice to see. Okay, so we pardon me, I have a bit of a croaky voice tonight. You'll excuse me if I have a few sips of water and what have you. We're talking all things Cherish tonight, which got me thinking about the biblical mandate to be looking after children and orphans and what the Bible actually has to say about it. And is that really part of our Christianity today? Is it something that we need to be getting our mind on today, or is it something that we can not worry about so much, but just sort of say, oh, that's Old Testament stuff or whatever? So that's where we're sort of heading tonight. Now you'll see, yes, I have had a little bit of the nip up here. Hello to the Jeffreys. I have had a little bit of the nip up here. I don't know what you think of it. There might be opportunity for you to comment later on what you happen to think of that. So you might be able to. You can let us know about that later on. Yes, good evening to Julie as well. Nice to have you. I guess David here as well. Nice to have you on the stream. All right, so let's get into a bit of a Bible study, shall we? So the first thing that I really want to do tonight is just simply be looking at some biblical mandates about, as I said, talking about looking after widows and children. And it pops up so many times in Scripture, it's unbelievable, really. It's all over the place in Scripture. So I actually did a little bit of just a quick search this afternoon, and it came up with over 100 passages. So there you go. It's all through Scripture. The need to look after, particularly widows, because in the day of Jesus, widows were a class of people who are not usually looked after by society. Most women couldn't work. Some did, of course, but most couldn't work. Most had no access to social security or anything else. If their husband died, that was it. They were poverty stricken, no income. And also the orphans. And that, of course, is the conversation of discussion for tonight. But where's our role? Where's the church's role in looking after the orphans? So let's just have a look at a few Bible verses. The first one, I just want to read you very quickly. Exodus 22:22 says, "Do not take advantage of the widow or the fatherless. If you do, and they cry out to me, I'll certainly hear their cry." So God is concerned about those who can't look after themselves. Moving on in Scripture to the book of Isaiah. Now, Isaiah is very concerned with righteousness, and chapter 1 of Isaiah is all about how the people have been sinning for such a long period of time. And as they've been sinning, God is saying, look, it's not good what you've been doing. It's not good. So here's the way you've been living, and here's what I want you to do. And that's very much the opening chapter of Isaiah. And here's one of the things they haven't been doing and what God wants them to do. Have a look at Isaiah 1, 16 and 17. Wash and make yourselves clean. Take your evil deeds out of my sight. Stop doing wrong. Learn to do right. Well, what is doing right according to God? Seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. So there you go. Plead the case of the widow and take up the cause of the fatherless. Very important. You know, in a society where people live, you know, from meal to meal, how important it was to do that. Well, let's move on a little bit and look at Matthew's gospel, because this, of course, is one of the key verses about children. We might think Jesus wasn't interested about children, but of course he was. He was so interested. So we read, pardon me, my voice, we read in Matthew 19, the people brought little children to Jesus for him to place his hands on them and pray for them. But the disciples rebuked them. Jesus said, let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. When he placed his hands on them, he went from there. So Jesus took time to stop and bless the children because they're important to him. Of course, you know, Jesus also says, you know, if you damage a little child, you'd be better off to have a big stone hung around your neck and be thrown into the ocean or something. That's how serious Jesus was about children and our need to be looking after them. We're going to go on. I'm just going to ask my wife if she might just come in here for a minute, please. We're just going to move on. Some more verses. Now, those of you who have been with me in the mornings, you will know that we've been looking through the book of Acts recently in our church services online, and this will just be taking you back. But if you haven't been with our church, people from outside our church, please be aware that this is what the book of Acts says. And just let me just pause for one moment. I beg your pardon. I just had to ask my wife something. Acts 6, 1 to 7. Classic passage. It says, in those days when the number of disciples were increasing, the Hellenistic Jews complained against the Hebraic Jews. See, what had happened is everybody had come to Jerusalem from all over the world who were Jewish people to celebrate at the Passover, and they heard Simon Peter give a message saying, don't worry about worshipping the old way, worship in the new way, follow Jesus. And all these people had become Christians, which was fantastic. And there were people who were from the local area, Jerusalem, who spoke Hebrew. They're the Hebraic Jews. And then you have the Hellenistic Jews, which were Greek-speaking Jews. They'd moved out of Israel maybe, a few generations ago, and were now only speaking Greek. Of course, the Hebraic Jews could speak Greek as well, but they just chose not to. They chose to be a class to themselves. And they said, we belong here. This is our town. If any widow is going to get a decent amount of food out of this church, it's going to be us. And so the 12 gathered the disciples together, 12 of the apostles. They gathered the disciples together and said, it would not be right for us to neglect the ministry of the word of God in order to wait on tables. Brothers and sisters, choose 7 men from among you who are known to be full of the Spirit and wisdom. We'll turn this responsibility over to them, and we will give our attention to prayer and to the ministry of the word. So the apostles say it's really important that we look after the widows. And if they're going to groan and moan and stab each other in the back, that's wrong too. We've got to stop that. Everybody has to be treated fairly. Doesn't matter where you were born, where you came from, what language you speak. Everybody has to be treated fairly. And this is what God does. He says a fair treatment for all. This proposal pleased the whole group. And then we read who they chose to oversee the distribution of food. Stephen, a man, pardon me, full of faith in the Holy Spirit. Now, Stephen actually went on to become the first Christian martyr. Philip, who became, great evangelist, known as Philip the Evangelist, who took the gospel all over the place. Prochorus, Nicanor, Timian, Parmius, Nicholas from Antioch, a convert to Judaism. They presented these men to the apostles who prayed, laid hands on them, so the word of God spread. The number of disciples in Jerusalem increased rapidly, and even a large number of the Jewish priests became obedient to the faith. Well, moving on from that, we read in James chapter 1, verse 27, that, hang on, I think I'm needed. Hang on just a moment. Okay, folks, I'm very sorry about that. Um, we've been having some technical issues with trying to get some other people onto our stream. That's what we've been doing. Um, yes, I know you couldn't hear me, Shirley. I said I was just going off the air for a minute. So let's have a look at James chapter 1. This is the last Bible verse we're going to look at. James chapter 1. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. Now look, of course, we know the difference between religion and spirituality, don't we? We know that. But it's really important for us to be aware of what true religion is all about. So, just give me one more second, folks. I'm very sorry about this. Give me one more second. I'm sorry. I hope that's done it. If my wife could just come in here, please, for one more second, I'd appreciate it. I'm really sorry, folks. Really sorry. Sometimes we have technical trouble, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't have technical trouble. Please don't leave. What I was saying is that there are people who consider themselves religious. In other words, they kind of carry over from the old way of doing things, where it's not just about a relationship with Jesus, but they sort of feel in themselves, if I'm not doing something, I'm not going the right way. And so James comes along and he says, look, if that's what you want to be, this is what real religion is. It's religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless, is to look after the orphans and widows in their distress and keep oneself from being polluted by the world. Sorry, folks. So many troubles, and then my voice on top of it all. Well, how about we have a few people give us some feedback on that while we get some other things sorted out for tonight. What do you think about where is the role of women in the church? Sorry, orphans in the church, widows in the church. How much should we be looking after people? Is it the same today? Does it remain true today? What's the call on the Christian to be a a righteous person, or a person who's maybe just says, well, I don't have to worry because I believe in Jesus? Let's have a bit of feedback from you guys. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed, while we're just taking a little few seconds to try and get everything worked out here so we can get on with the night, please subscribe. Please subscribe. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, and also hit the like, hit the thumbs up button, because if you hit the thumbs up button, it helps inform other people about this stream. People who might be searching for Bible studies or whatever might have this pop up in their search engine. So hit all that stuff, and yeah, I think should be fun. So, anyone want to make a comment at this stage? Anyone want to make a comment? Okay, we've had one subscriber. That's great. Thank you, Mr. Graceful Swan. Very nice to have you on board with us. Well, all right, we're going to throw things. Okay, we have a couple of comments here. We would love definitely to be looking not after widows, but anyone who needs help. That's right, Jane, I would think. And of course, as we get on a little bit later, if we get connected, if we get everything worked out, okay, Ravi, great to have you here. I just sent you another link just a few seconds ago. If you use that link, you should be able to come and talk to me. It's nothing about you participating by chat. So use that last link I just emailed to you a few minutes ago, if you wouldn't mind, Ravi. But thank you for jumping on there. All right. So while you're doing that, Ravi, I'm going to show you a little bit of a funny video just while we kind of jump into Ravi, we have you on stream. That's great. In fact, I'll change that. I'm just going to invite you in straight away. Let's see. Here we are.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, Pastor.
It's very nice to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you after a long time.
A long time indeed.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're going to get another couple of people in here. I am really sorry there was a muck up.
Yeah.
Really sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
We're here now. You're in Hyderabad?
Yes.
And what time is it?
In Hyderabad.
What's the time there?
It's 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m. It's our lunch time.
2 p.m. So you had a church service this morning you went to?
You have a church service? It's afternoon for us.
Yeah. Now, just tell me what's going on in India, just while we wait for some others.
Yeah.
What in terms of the whole thing with COVID? What's going on in India?
Yeah, right now there are many post-COVID complications, and many are suffering with lung infections after the COVID. We are right now hit with the third wave. Thank God that there is no lockdown, but especially the South India, which is called the state of Kerala, which has having high number of cases. I can say around 30,000 plus cases every day. So altogether, it's close to 45,000 across India. That's a very less number compared to 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs cases, in the first and the second wave. But right now, there's no lockdown. But I see as I visit some of the pastors' families, some of the Christian families, they have been battling with post-COVID complications like lung infection, cardiac problem, kidney problem, and even they're affected with tuberculosis, which is called TB. So post-COVID issues are many, especially for pregnant women. Many got miscarriages. Out of 100, I can say only 2 got able to have nice, delivery for the babies. So post-COVID, it's very complicated for elderly couples, and at the same time for the pregnant ladies, and even for the pastors. Most of the pastors, I got a call from North India, which is called the Darjeeling. It's a hill station. So he called me and asked for the prayer. Post COVID, he had his first vaccine, which is called Covishield. Like I think It's a Pfizer manufactured, and he got this lung infection. It is affecting the respiratory system. So the things are we are taking care through social work. We are reaching the poor, we are reaching the pastors. We're trying to help whatever the capacity that we are doing right now. So as of today, everyone is taking precautions and not to go in a crowd. We are limiting, even the church services are limited for 100 people or 200 people, and avoiding large gatherings. So it may hit around, the scientists are predicting it may hit in the month of November. So all the precautions are being taken.
Wow. So now you mentioned that the figures have come down a lot, and
Yes.
you used a term lack. Did you say 300 or 400 lack?
In the first and second COVID, it is very close to 300,000.
Yeah. So
But
I was going to bring up like
yeah,
lack is not a term we use here.
that's
So
correct. Yeah,
it's
that's
it's a
correct. Yeah,
100,000 a lack. So
yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah,
it's a lot less, but
yeah,
it's still going.
yeah.
All right. Let's meet someone else here. We've got Bargia. We've got a little bit of Bargia's face there. Hi, Bargia. We'll
Hi,
see if we.
Pastor. Sorry,
Uh,
maybe I couldn't figure
no,
out
no, no,
what
no,
it
no,
was.
Bargia. Don't worry about it at all.
And my
Let's see.
husband is also with me, sitting next to me.
Yeah. I see that. Just squeeze in a bit closer there,
And
Vivek.
it's Lord Agnes. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all right. You're
and
Hi,
married.
Ravi.
praise Lord, Andy. Praise Lord, Agnes.
Now all these three are great friends, so that's good. Now, um, we're here to discuss particularly Cherish,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
I just want to ask you one more question, Ravi.
yeah.
Um, People wearing the face masks and stuff like they're doing here.
Yes, we're still. That's if you're not wearing, that will be a fine. So
Oh,
we
really?
need to
Okay.
wear the face mask. We need to go for with the social distance, because it may hit around in the month of November. That's what the government is saying. So we're taking all precautions to avoid large gatherings.
Okay. And so, face masks. What about you say avoid large gatherings? Do you have
Yeah,
to
that's
sort of stay at home or only within a short radius of your house, or can you still travel anywhere you want?
yeah. We can travel. There is no travel restrictions across India, and we need to avoid the large gatherings, which is more than 300 or 500. And we need to have the sanitization everywhere. So there are sanitization tunnels. We need to go under through it, and the churches has been sanitized, metros, buses, the public transport, everything. Every now and then they sanitize, and we need to carry our own sanitizer bottle.
Okay, so you have to wipe down seats and things.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So they're really sort of trying to keep everything
Yeah,
at bay, aren't they?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can't get um, a little video running first.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I'll see if I can do that. Where are we? Where are we? Hang on. I better get the right thing. Oh, here we are. Now, our folks saw this morning because you're very familiar with this, Ravi. I think you probably had something to do with putting it together.
I'm Krupa. I lost my parents at the age of 5. Me with my brother Kumar were brought to Cherish in the year 2005. When I came here, I didn't even know how to dress up myself and to eat food on my own.
It was in a small room, but with a great vision of our daddy, Mr. David Subramaniam. Me and my sister Krupa have started our lives in Cherish and gradually grew up to be 60 children.
We are now a big family, helping each other with love and care, which we have lost in our childhood. Cherish always prioritized education. It has taken every effort to provide the same in the top schools of the city, because of which 70% of us have completed our schooling and are into graduation.
We have shifted to more than 6 spaces till date. Now we have grown up to be young. There is an increasing necessity to have separate premises for boys and girls so that it can provide an independent platform to grow as an individual.
Though we had a humble beginnings in a small room, having our own home is a far-fetched dream. With much encouragement from many of our donors and well-wishers, we were able to take this bold step in building our own orphan home.
This project is called Oikos.
I'm going to have to stop that. My video card, I think, is struggling with that for some reason. I don't know why quite. So let's just run through these figures. This is about building that 3-story building.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
And ground floor, my understanding is, first of all, it's going to be on the block of land next to where they currently are.
Yes. It's just beside the existing premises.
So that means that they're going to be used to the area.
Yeah.
Is that now? My understanding is that block of land is partly paid for.
Yes. I have my presentation ready. So once you're done, I'll be able to do that. What exactly I would like to share the current status with the Cherish project.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that now, Ravi, so we know exactly where we're up to and what's happening.
Yeah, sure.
Are you able to actually share from your end?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
No, we can't see your screen. Sorry. Can't see it. Just if you could email it to me. Is it
Okay.
like what is it? Just a video or?
No, it's a document. I'll share to your email.
Oh, is that the document that you sent me before?
No, this is the updated one.
Okay, well, if you send me that, I'll share that and you can go through it, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Now, for those of you who are listening and don't know, we've our church has had 2 mission trips to India, to Hyderabad, which Bhagia and Vivek down the bottom there have organised, one in 2016 and one in 2019, just before the COVID hit. And we were very blessed both times to be taken around by them, and particularly to visit this Cherish orphanage in Hyderabad, which is a great example of an orphanage because they took people, kids who probably other places mightn't have taken, and also it's run by a Christian man who was just called by God to do this. David, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name. One of my Indian friends will pronounce his last name. What is it, Bhagia?
Subramaniam.
Yeah.
Subramaniam. So that's why I'm not going to try and pronounce it.
Yeah, you got it.
I've got it when you say it, then I don't have it again. Did you send that, Ravi?
I have sent your email. Please check.
Oh, yes, here we are. Just came through. Okay, where are we?
You can check on the first page. You can check it.
Yeah. I've got it. It's fine. Okay, well, I'll share that. Okay, now, as I said, it was started by David. Superrunium,
Yeah.
and he's a very Christian man who just wants to look after and bless these young people. They all call him Daddy, and he really is a father to them, and he's given them a chance to know Jesus. He teaches a lot of stuff in English, so they come out fluent in English, which gives them a great start in life. And they're aiming high, a lot of them, doctors, lawyers, all sorts of things like that. So can we hear you there, Ravi?
Yeah, you can scroll it down. Yeah, the first page.
Disappeared for a minute. Okay. So in September 21, new land beside the existing premises. Cost of the orphanage building is 778,000 or nearly 779,000 Australian dollars. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money for us.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money for you guys.
Yeah.
So you've already paid 130,000.
Yes, that's an advance for the landlord. So we paid that as an advance, and we registered that with the government, so we can start the construction. I'll share the document as well right away.
Yeah, that's all right. And you've also paid 13,000 for building permission. I guess we have to do that same sort of thing here. You've got to pay the different levels of government money before you can start building. Now, you say you need to have by January 2022. Is that 4 installments of $41,000 or $42,000 or $168,000? That's to pay off the land, is it?
Yeah.
What happens, Ravi, if you don't? I mean, we're trusting God, but on the worst possible situation, because people like to know what happens to their money. What happens to their money if that can't be raised?
We can ask because there are many government officials involved in this, negotiating with the landlord. Uh, so we can ask the extension. We can seek the permission from the mayor, because the mayor of that particular place is initiating in this project. So he's like a middleman. So we can negotiate with him so that he can speak with the landlord, and we can get another extension, say 1 or 2 months, hardly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you actually have a date in January, or just the end of January, or?
That's the end of January.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a fair bit of money, 167,000. That's just to secure the land.
Yes, that's the completely will get the land, because what we paid 134.63, that is for only for the land, apart from the construction. So if we pay 167, I think $68,000, that will be only for the land. So once we are done with the land, the construction, it can take its own turn.
Okay. So the construction is another 480,000 on top.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, it's going to be one of the finest looking buildings in Hyderabad.
Yeah. That's for the orphans. Yeah, true. The ground floor, it will be for conferences, for seminars, for medical camps, for gatherings, and on the first floor they have a common kitchen. That's for their dining halls on the boat, because the premises got two sides of the road. One road will be using for the boys, and the other side that for the girls. So there's the restriction is for only boys on the one side, on the other side only for the girls, because
yeah. I saw the drawing. So one building,
Yeah,
almost with a petition up the middle kind of thing.
that's correct. Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Now, just in terms of the tax exemptions, that's not for Australian taxpayers.
Yeah.
So it's not so much for us, the tax exemption stuff. But there is a now. One of the questions I wanted to ask is there have been some issues in getting money to India for different things.
Yeah.
How do we know this money is going to get to Cherish if we send it?
As right now, Cherish Foundation is a charitable trust. So any amount of money that comes through the bank or through the check that comes directly to Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, which is by Government of India. So that is that whatever comes to Cherish, that we need to pay, file the tax in return to the Government of India. So whatever we are getting, that comes and it reflects in the bank account.
Okay.
So that cannot be because that cannot be misused, or that cannot be used for the different purposes. Say for example, if we are sending for medical purpose, we need to file the medical bills to the Government of India. If you are receiving money from foreign, if you are receiving money in the for the purpose of education, we need to produce bills that is very particular, very specific for education. So Government of India is very clear, because the many Christian organizations has been shut down and closed because they're unable to produce properly the tax filing. But whereas Cherish Foundation has internal auditing, external auditing, and it is one of the best orphanage in India. So we have a team of auditors internally and externally, and from Government of India also, they'll come, they check the reports, and they give us a green mark, which is yes, you can go and receive the donations.
Okay. So the money will get there. There's no problem.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And we can make all this stuff available to our people, bank accounts, etc. That's the best way to pay, is straight into a bank account.
That's correct. Yeah.
And what we
And you can use the PayPal link. I'll be sending that, the PayPal link we have, because government has banned that. The trust cannot have a PayPal online donations. By God's grace, we were able to activate it. We were able to speak with the guys in India, so we got activation for the PayPal. So I'll send you the link.
Okay. So and we'll put all this stuff on our church website.
Yeah.
But even over and beyond that, I want to make some of this stuff available to a bunch of other larger churches in our area. So there's some stuff about Cherish. Is there anything you want to comment about any of this stuff?
Pardon?
Do you want to comment about the foundation or?
Yeah. Yeah, it's in 17 years old orphanage, which is started by Brother David, and I joined him in the year 2004 as an executive director on the board. And I traveled many places, many cities and towns, but I was unable to find a guy like Brother David, and he's very dedicated, very passionate. His calling is to rescue the orphan children, and not just providing them good food, education, or but he trained them in the Christian discipline. They're all baptized, they sing songs, they worship the Lord, they spend time with the Lord, they know the scriptures, and they're getting divinely appointed marriages. And Vivek uncle and Dr. Bhagya also, they know they're the part of this. So recently we were able to perform marriages with 3 adult girls, and they're blessed. And the elder girl, she's carrying, she's pregnant, she's in the 5th month. And this week we're able to set marriages, the alliances for another 2 girls. They have done their graduation, they have done their PG, they're working. And girl, the one we are able to perform the marriage, she got in a software company called IBM, and the groom, is working in one of the top pharmaceutical companies. So it's not just rescuing them, but establishing them in the nice born again Christian family. So we are taking care of them holistically. It's in the holistic development of the kids. So right now we have around 60 kids. So most of them are very focused, Christ-centered lives, and they're brought up in a very a spiritual way.
I would like to. We don't have a huge amount of time tonight, so I want to bring Bhargya and Vivek in. Hi, Bhargya and Vivek.
Hi.
Hi, Pastor.
Pastor.
Hello. Hello,
What?
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, nice to see you. As far as you're concerned, what is the, I guess, most exciting thing about Cherish? Most exciting.
It's everything about Cherish, about the children and their development. And as Ravi said just now, like they have this holistic approach, and the children are talented and they are well disciplined and trained, and they know exactly what they are doing. And they are highly spiritually developed children.
Yeah, I remember that first time when I went there in 2016, being quite amazed at that they put on a bit of a worship time for us,
Yeah.
and we sang worship songs together, and they were just filled with joy,
Amen.
Yes.
and you could see it on their faces. And then the next time I came across from 2019, Ravi, I think I was at your place up on the roof there,
Yes.
and the Cherish girls set up. There was 3 or 4 of them. They set up their keyboard, and they were going to sing a couple of songs for a group of pastors.
Yeah. True.
And they said to me, "Oh, are you coming to Cherish this time?" They obviously recognised me. I said, "Yeah, we're going tomorrow." And they said,
Yeah.
"Oh, fantastic!" And they really meant it. They sort of like love to have this interaction with Christians from other places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think they've got some interaction with I think they told us a church in Holland. I don't know if that's still happening, but they did at one stage. Yeah, so well worthwhile. Now you say unashamedly it's one of the best orphanages in India, Ravi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been awarded in the year 2016. There's a survey done by .org, which gives .org domain to the charitable trust. So, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. Their headquarters in Virginia, in U.S. So they came from U.S. and they have interviewed us. I think that's available on the YouTube. I can share the link. So they were able to do some kind of survey of education, infrastructure, food, and the feedback from the orphanages, from boys and girls, how they feel. Is it homely or just an hostel kind of thing? But Cherish Founders stood first in the year 2016, and they gave a cash prize of $300,000 to Cherish, and they came with a very big crew. They did they did showed that video, which costs us around with high end equipment, with all technology they use, which costs us around $5 lakh, sorry, 500,000 rupees for us. So that's a great achievement for us, and still now we are using that video as a promotional video.
Fantastic. Now, the only other thing that I really wanted to point out tonight, and I'll actually, with your permission, I'll pop this document on our website as well. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
I
Yeah,
guess if it's
that's
going
fine.
if it's going on YouTube, I'm sure it can go on our website.
Yeah.
You're looking to buy 1 square foot of land.
Yeah.
For, is it 500 rupee?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And that will cover land and building.
Ravi,
That is
Yeah.
5,000 per unit, Pastor.
5,000.
Per unit.
5,000. Okay,
Indian rupees.
there's confusion.
Which
Okay,
is about Australian $100.
$100. Yeah.
about $100.
Yeah, it's $100. Yeah.
So basically, folks, if you could give $100, and how many square feet is there?
1 unit.
No. In the whole project, how many square feet?
It's about
It's
937
9,300,
9,300 square feet.
9,000, uncle. Yeah,
9,000.
9,300 square
Oh,
feet.
9,300 square.
So
One floor is 3,100 square feet. So it's 3 floors that we are going to have. So it's 9,300 total.
Okay.
so when we break it down, $100 is actually, a very achievable amount for most of us. I mean,
Yeah.
for those of us in Australia, probably almost all of us.
Yep.
So come on, folks. Those of you who are watching live and those who are going to be watching later, come on. We need to get up to $100. Just pull it out of your wallet and say, well, I've been locked down. I haven't been able to spend it doing anything else. So let's spend it on Cherish and let's get some kids some great hope. And yeah.
Praise God.
Now, just as we're finishing up, Bhargav and Vivek, we've heard from Ravi about how some of the kids are getting married and one's even about to have a baby.
Yeah.
Any stories for Bhargav or Vivek about any jobs that the kids have gone into that you know about?
A few of them are into teaching in the schools, and I think Kumar and another guy is in the software industry.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. So they are getting work.
Yes, they are.
They are getting work.
And they're getting, and some have gone through university or are going
Yes.
through
Yeah.
university.
Those around eight children are working. Around 4 children are working for multinational companies, and 4 girls are working for teaching. They're into teaching.
Well, that's great, isn't it? And there's no way they would have been able to do that,
Yeah.
Yeah, without the support of Cherish.
without this support. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Because David believes in giving them, I should say, a high quality of education.
Yeah.
So, including like, attending to some private tuitions and all such things he does for the overall development of the children.
Good. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to call it there. Is there any last things any of you want to say?
Are we able to promote to other Baptist churches also, Pastor?
Indeed. In fact, what I think would be great
Okay.
is if those of us who have been to Cherish offered our services either now to do it by phone call, or we could make our own little video up using some of the photos and things that we took there and give them to some other Baptist churches to run as a bit of a campaign if they wanted to. Or once we're allowed to go back to church, I don't know about you, Ravi, but we're not even allowed in our church buildings here at the moment because of COVID. But when we're allowed to go back to church, we might start sending some envoys around to try and raise money that way. So I think that would be a really good thing for those who have been to India. And so if that's somebody listening either now or later on to this, let me know if you'd like to join a team to do that here in Sydney, and even wider than Sydney,
Yeah.
And we could certainly put some stuff out through our Baptist Association that they might be able to send to a bunch of churches to see if we can't get this done. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining
I'll be
us.
sharing the brochure. I'll be sorry to interrupt, Pastor. I'll be sharing the brochure. What all required documents I'll send through email so that you can use for the children.
All right. Thank you so much. My apologies about you not getting on straight away.
No worries.
But you made it. You missed my Bible study, but you made it on. So
Yeah, sorry about that.
it's
Yeah.
not your fault.
Not very good with the technology. We both
That's all right. We got there. So thank you so much. And God bless you. So I'm going to say goodbye to you. You can stay online if you want to keep watching just for a few minutes, because we all normally try to end with a little high funny note. Okay, so if you want to hang on for another 5 or so minutes, you
Yeah.
might be able to see a high funny note, or you can leave. But I'm
Yeah.
going to drop you off now. So thank you so much, Bhargav and
Sure.
Vivek,
Thank you,
and
Pastor.
thank you so
Thank you,
much, Robbie.
Pastor.
Great to see you again. All right. So now I did promise you that we would have a bit of a look at something that may be considered amusing. I don't know. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to. You see my hair? It's all, completely different to the way it was last week. So let's see if we can see how my hair got this way. And then what I want you to do is to let me know whether you would let my wife cut your hair. Okay? You can see what I look like. So here we go. Now, here we are after 13 weeks of lockdown, not allowed to go to the barber, and Karen is about to try and cut my hair with a new set of tongs. Where are they, Karen? New set of tongs, otherwise called clippers.
Starting with a number 5.
And we're very nervous here. So, boy, were we nervous. I tell you, we were nervous. My goodness. There's a lot of hair there, folks. There's a lot of hair there. Right, we'll see you on the other side. No, Suzanne, that I thought it was a garbage bag. But apparently it wasn't. Apparently it was some special bag that came with my $14.95 hair clippers. And when I ripped it off at the end, believing it was a garbage bag, Karen was not particularly happy with me. But that's the way it goes, isn't it? Now, at this stage, everything was going reasonably well, I thought. In fact, the back of my hair there doesn't look too bad for having just had a number 5 or something hair clipper put through it. I don't know what the rest of you think. Going okay. I'm trying to give instructions to Karen on the way. This is the first time I've seen this. My son put this together, so I'm watching it with you. Then, she bends my ear down like it's a piece of rubber tubing. Now, I know the barbers do that, but I mean, literally flipping your ear in half. I mean, Struth. And then she's just taking nibbles out of the top. I tried to tell her, just rub your hands through and go on the top of the, but no. Now, remember, the idea of this is you need to tell me, would you let Karen cut your hair? If it wasn't COVID, could she come around and do it? Very funny. I think my program just told you not to use all caps or something there, Suzanne. Very funny. Well, it was somewhat terrifying to me, more than funny. Well, now, Jane, before you jump into suggested thoughts, what you now look, there you go. I'm going to pause the video there. Look at that. She was going all right until she mucked up the side of my hair. That side's not too bad. The back is just straight. Now, all right, viewers, what do you think? What sort of a job did Karen do on the hair? Does it pass muster? Would you get her to cut your hair? Would you get her to cut my hair again? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. Couple more comments. Well done, but I wait for my hairdresser. Thanks. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. It's not a mullet. It's not meant to be a mullet, Mr. Graceful Swan. All right. Gosh. All right. We'll leave it at that. I hope you have enjoyed our night together. I hope you've enjoyed all things Cherish. A slightly serious note tonight, trying to raise money, but look, it's for such a great cause. In fact, my thing is, let's try and raise $1,000 on Sunday nights, just from our small little viewerage. We often get 30 or so people, 40 people sometimes watching by the end of the week. So let's try and raise $1,000. So all I want you to do is reply. Is Tim next? No, Shirley. There is no way my son would let my wife take hold of his hair with a pair of scissors. Anyway, look, if we could raise $1,000, so I just want us to pledge. We should be able to pledge some money towards Cherish. Our viewers, just this Sunday night at 6 viewage. I'm not talking about Sunday morning, not talking about the rest of the church, just those who are in tonight. Let's see if we can do it over the next few weeks. So just if you would like to just type in the thing, think about it. You don't have to do it right now, but think about it, and you can come back to this video and just type in the comments. I pledge $10, I pledge $20, whatever it is. I pledge $100. That'll buy a square foot of land and building. If you'd like to do that, we'll see if we can kick them off with $1,000 pledge as soon as we possibly can. So sorry about a slightly serious topic, but it's urgent. They've got to have the money by. They've got to have some of the money by January, as you know. Thanks, Suzanne. That's fantastic. When you go there and you see those kids, they're transformed by the love of God, and it's fantastic. And it's really good. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. That was good. Thanks. No problem. And another one here. You'd give my wife a 7 out of 10, Nev. That's. I think it's a little bit better than me, but okay. Anyway, we've got to call it a night. Oh, thank you, Jane. Thank you so much. We'll get them coming in. Let us know how much, and then we'll get you to pop the money straight in our church bank account marked India or something like that. But we'll raise the pledges, and then we'll get the money into the church bank account. In the meantime, God bless you all. Sorry I've gone a bit over time tonight, but I think it was an important topic. It's great to have you on board. And once again, thanks so much for being with us. God bless you all, and good night.